Alright, it's time for the 4th mission of the Autobot campaign, or the 9th mission in the game if you're following the entire thing. Aerial Assault, which is probably my favorite mission in the game. And mainly because of our choice of characters, we get to choose to either play as Jetfire, Air Raid, or Silverbolt. And all three of them are really, really freaking cool. So, despite the fact that I've always wanted to play as Jetfire, I decided I would play as Silverbolt for this mission because he has a much better loadout of weapons and abilities. So, but either way, all characters are pretty good. Air Raid honestly does not start out with that great of a setup. He only has one weapon, it's the Scatter Blaster, so that's kind of lame. But Silverbolt is pretty good because he has the Photon Burst Rifle, and he has the Force Field and the Shockwave abilities, so he's pretty well set up. But all three of them have the same jet mode. They each have a different chassis, but it's the same weapons and everything. So they're basically the same character, kind of like the how the Seekers are the same character. But we basically have to fly through all this debris over here before we get to the space station from the beginning of the game, where the Energon Bridge is connecting to. And we're going to go and land over here and fight some Seekers that are coming out over here. We can stay here and snipe them with the Photon Burst Rifle if we want, or we can go and attack them in a straight-up dogfight. And much like in the second mission, where we had the Decepticon jet characters to play as, we can combat them with our unlimited ammo jet weapons pretty easily. It's basically the same exact combat. We can just choose to lock onto them with our rockets or use the machine guns. And your maneuverability is very important when you're in your jet mode, because you have the barrel roll ability, so you don't need to really sit there and take damage like you would with any other vehicle mode. But after dealing with those guys, we have a little mini-boss to take care of here, which is a defending machine type thing. I don't really know what to call this. It just sort of comes out of the wall and starts shooting at us. And it has two weapon systems, one on each, I guess, arm, I guess you could say. And we're basically just going to keep shooting at it until it dies, as per usual. So we're just going to stay on one side of it, the same side that we're trying to hit, and use our machine guns preferably to do damage to it, and try to keep a safe distance away, maybe keep relatively close to these areas over here so we can get more health. And there may be a couple of Seekers that will bother us occasionally. But after I've dealt with that side, then I'm going to come over here to this side and work on it. And there's going to be quite a few projectiles coming at you here, so be sure to keep moving. Not really all that hard, but now that we've destroyed the two, I guess, arms, you could say, more health over here on this little floating platform if you want it. The center of it is going to turn into a giant beam weapon type thing, and we can actually do damage to its core, I guess. So we definitely don't want to be right in front of it, or else that beam is going to vaporize us, of course. But when it turns red, we can do damage to it, and that'll be damage towards the actual boss itself. And at this point, the Seekers should probably leave us alone. We might still get some random stray projectiles coming at us. So here we go, it turned red, and we can go ahead and hit it with the machine gun. Again, it takes damage ridiculously fast. It's really not much of a threat at all. Really glad they gave us unlimited ammo for our jet weapons here, or else this would be a little bit more tricky to be forced to use our vehicle mode for this part. But we defeated the little mini boss type thing. It will open up and allow us to gain access to the inside of the station via this switch right here. Now I'm going to take off again and turn right back around because there's something I have to destroy in there that I forgot about. But this whole section is going to fall off anyway, so we would have to fly out of there anyway, even if we had shot it from within. Alright, so now we have a clear shot to the inside of the station. Hopefully we won't be flying through a bunch of debris anymore, and we can actually have some decent encounters on the ground for a change. Alright, so now we have some weapons here we can choose from if we don't like our current setup. There's a... I guess these are randomly spawning. There's an EMP shotgun right here I decided to pick up. Some frag grenades, but over on the other side I'm going to go ahead and drop these right away. Because over here there's some thermo mines, and I definitely want those. And a thermo rocket launcher, which I definitely want that because there's going to be a lot of seekers in this place, obviously, because we are jets ourselves. We're going to be fighting mostly jets, but so it's going to be very useful for those. And as well as the cloakers are going to be fighting later. The thermal rocket launcher is good against them because of the splash damage, you know, yada yada yada, the usual. Over here there's those two random objectives we have to shoot to get these guys to come out of their little random sphere here so we can fight them. They're not too much of a threat except for this one guy over here with an overshield. And he appears to have a shotgun as well. It's rather bizarre. As for the abilities of the other characters go, I don't really remember what Air Raid's abilities are. He might have the hover ability or something like that, I'm not sure. But I know that Jetfire has the... No, Jetfire has the hover ability. And he has the Sentry ability as well. But I don't remember what Air Raid has. And, but we have the Force Field and the Shockwave ability, which are both going to be very useful in general. So it's nice that we have this good offensive character with the Photon Burst Rifle, but then good defensive abilities. He's pretty well rounded, I'd say. After we've activated the switch here, we're going to have more Seekers coming in. And we can sort of just hide behind this force field here that this little bubble sphere thing is generated whenever we need to go behind cover, because obviously they can't shoot us through it. So we can just sort of pop in and out in our vehicle mode if we're trying to conserve ammo. If not, then the thermal rocket launcher would be the way to go, because it can kill them with one shot. For some reason our jet rockets can't seem to do that, though. It takes 2 shots to kill them in their vehicle modes. I guess the handheld rocket launcher is just better that way. But after that nonsense, we have to go into this other room here, where there's some sentries already set up, so we can go ahead and take them out from afar, just like we did when playing a Starscream. And there's a door we can break open. I think there's another door we can break open here that might have some overshields behind it, but I'm not really sure where that is. I might have been thinking it was at a later part and just ignored it. Yeah, I think it's right over there. You can actually see it in this shot right here. I'm not sure if there's anything in there or not, but I might be thinking of a different part. Back here, I'm going to stop real quick and get these overshields. And there's some more frag grenades, but we don't need those because we haven't even used our regular thermal mines yet that we've had for some time now. Over here, I'm going to completely waste that perfectly good overshield on these guys who proceeded to do just wail on me while I'm sitting there like a duck. And now over in this area, we have these other 2 things we need to destroy. I have no idea what these things are. They're just things. But we're going to take it kind of slow in here because there's a lot of enemies that are going to come out of nowhere as soon as we've destroyed that. So we're going to take our time getting over to the other side and dealing with the other one. Managed to hit that Seeker with a thermal mine. That was kind of random. But yeah, we've got a lot of scouts. Some of them have rockets, and we got some sentries over here. It's just a whole big mess of enemies. Luckily, though, the thermal rocket launcher can lock on to sentries if you're patient enough. Here I use the force field ability effectively because I need to. This Seeker right here almost killed me, like I barely had any health left. So I'm kind of in a bad position right here, but the force field is really helping me out quite a bit. Because it can cover one side of the area while I'm focusing on fighting one half of the enemies. There we go, finally killed that guy. But there is some health in this area, and I'm working on trying to get to it so I'm not stuck with 1 bar of health going over to this objective. Yeah, there's ammo back there in those areas, and behind the actual objective over here is where there's more ammo, weapons, and some health, and the health is really what I need. I'm not sure what weapons those are, but I really don't need any other weapons right now. I have pretty much the best things I could ask for in this whole mission. And it's pretty much what we'll be sticking with for the most part, with a couple of exceptions. So after destroying that other thing that I can't quite describe what it is, we now have access to this other room here. And I almost get crushed by a giant sphere thing, or the crane that removes the spear from the coolant. I don't know why these guys would be down in that stuff just waiting to be picked up. Like, what were they doing down there? Maybe they were doing some kind of maintenance on the coolant or whatever, or making sure it's like the right temperature or something. Either way, it's pretty random. But these guys, they're 3 Rocketeers, but they're just sitting ducks in there. We can hit them with our rockets, and they're completely helpless. So, yeah, not much of a challenge there. Now if we've cleared them out, we can use it to submerge ourselves in the coolant and find out what is beneath it.
Okay, we still have to flush the tanks. Head to the coolant control room. Let's move, Autobots.
There's a room down here. Let's go and activate. Let's go and push some buttons in this room. And after pushing these buttons, some cloakers will reveal themselves to us. Well, kind of. They will reveal that they are concealed, which is a bit redundant, but still. Now we must kill them. And by doing so, we're going to use the thermal rocket launcher as usual, because its splash damage will reveal them whenever it hits the area that they're in. That guy just came right up in front of me. I could have meleeed him, but I missed. But keep in mind of these little side tunnels up here, because they like to hide out in here sometimes, and they can also give you a nice place to go and hide if you're low on health and you're trying to recharge. Also, the thermo mines are pretty useful because you can just sort of set them down wherever and just wait for them to run into them. But just like when we were playing in Starscream, the vehicle mode weapons, both of them are very useful against the cloakers, and you can just sort of hover over the area where the battle is taking place and just hit them with that. In the center of all this, on top of that console, is a X12 scrap maker, if you want that, and I kind of recommend it for some parts of this level, but because its rate of fire is not very high when you first start firing it, I don't really recommend it for fighting cloakers, because they'll probably be able to evade those first couple of shots, and by the time you've gotten it up to full speed, you'll be wasting ammo, so rocket launcher is just the best way to go for these guys. My other 2 allies just sitting up there wondering where I'm going.
No matter what, we will see this through.
Come on, Jetfire. Anyway. More health and some grenades over here. I didn't actually use all 3 of my thermo mines, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up these frags anyway, just so I can have 3 grenades.
This is it. The coolant control room. You've got the controls straight ahead. What the?
Jetfire, after all this time, you've come home.
Jetfire, how does he know you? Long story. Megatron, enough lives have been lost. You've got to stop this madness.
You should have joined my Decepticons when you had the chance, Jetfire.
I wear the Autobot insignia with pride, Megatron.
There is no pride